What is good, everybody? Welcome back to another Friday night, I guess just Q&A, really. Like, we're just here to talk some fantasy football, talk anything, really, that you want. So, usually we're doing these about 8 p.m., it's the wife's birthday. We're going to go out. We're going to have some fun tonight. Doing it a little bit earlier tonight. So hopefully, you guys are still around. Hopefully you guys still want to talk some football in the short time that we do have. We have about an hour here tonight. So that said, why don't we just get into it? I see we got a couple people. I think we're here. I think we're here. We lost connection for a minute, but hopefully that didn't change too much. But yeah, man, it's just been a game that we have been waiting on for a while, so hopefully everybody's in here. I don't really know what happened. If you guys are good, let me know in the comments, but that was really weird. I've never had that happen before. It said we lost internet for a second, but I think we're back. Let me just double check on the phone. Let's see what we got here. I think we're good, right, folks? I think we're good. At least it's looking like it's still up there. So I haven't seen anything else in the comments yet. I think we're good. Let's just keep going. Why not? We'll see what happens. Cody, he says Dynasty, half PPR, tight end premium. Yeah, I think we're good. Dynasty, half PPR, tight end premium, sat Kyle Pitts, already have Ferguson and McBride, was going to start Shakir over Pitts, desperate play for the flex, Dortch versus San Fran or Bo Milton versus a terrible Rams defense. Honestly, I am having to do something kind of similar in my leagues. Now, I would definitely go Bo Milton over Greg Dortch. I don't feel great about it, but I think Bo Melton's going to have more opportunity than a guy like Dortch, and it's definitely a worse defense. So I think you can flex Bo Melton if you actually need him here today. But let's see what else we got in here, man. Some more stuff. Jonathan, he says, appreciate you being here. Nick, he says, standard scoring. We start Kyler or Darnold. Also need one receiver, Wicks, Juwan Jennings, Shaheed, Garrett Wilson. Okay, so standard scoring. We're starting Kyler or Darnold. I still have Kyler over Darnold in my rankings this week, and the one wide receiver between Wicks, Juwan Jennings, Shaheed, and Garrett Wilson. It's Garrett Wilson for me. He's the highest in my rankings. He's the guy that I'm still going to rock with in that situation. I would try and find a way to start Wicks, though. Niner says standard. Start one for the flex, Christian Kirk versus the Colts or Trey Sermon versus the Jags. In a standard league, give me Trey Sermon versus the Jags. Cody says we're back, so okay, sounds like we're pretty good now. Zeke says sit/start full PPR Jerome Ford, Josh Downs, Trey Sermon, or Juwan Jennings. Give me, well, okay, here's the thing. In a full PPR league, if it is for me, it's between Josh Downs and Jerome Ford. If Joe Flacco is taking most of the first team reps today in practice, if Joe Flacco is the starting quarterback, I want Josh Downs. If it's Anthony Richardson, I would go Jerome Ford. But that being said, I think it's going to be Joe Flacco, so I will go with Josh Downs there. Tyler, my guy, we got a super chat here. He says, I have Love, Reed. Would you pick up Wicks and play Dell? I can hear you. Would you play Dell? I think I would prefer Wicks over Dell this week. Even if you do have Jordan Love and Jaden Reed, I am still going to play Dontavion Wicks. I would play all three of them. I think they're all great plays this week. So appreciate the super chat as always, man. It means a lot. So hopefully that answers your question. What else? TD says, yo, happy Friday. Happy Friday to you, man. Sean says half PPR, B-Rob Jr. versus Cleveland or Pittman versus Jacksonville. So I've been hearing that Brian Robinson might not play this week. If Brian Robinson doesn't play this week, that decision is already made for you. But let me see what the latest is on B-Rob, because I've heard that he might not be in. It is a tough matchup, though. He did not practice on Thursday, so he didn't practice yesterday. I don't know, man. I don't even know if he's gonna play. Obviously, if he plays, I'm playing him, but I think you might be forced to go Pittman no matter what. Niner says Jerome Ford, Chase Brown, or Trey Sermon. I like Jerome Ford. Frankie, we got Eckler or Ford. They're against each other. I like Ford more than Eckler. Logan says, got a good one for you, big dog. Just got offered Ayuk, Andrews, and a first for Bowers and Worthy. I'm in a rebuild. Okay, you're in a rebuild. Ayuk, Andrews, and a first for Bowers and Worthy. Assuming this is tight end premium, I think it is. If it is tight end premium, if it's tight end premium, you want Bowers and Worthy. And I think if it's not, you still have the argument to go that way, but obviously you don't love the tight ends as much if it's not a premium. But in a tight end premium, I'm going the Bowers and Worthy side, especially in the rebuild. Luke says, so happy I fixed my YouTube and I can comment. Hell yeah, Luke. Appreciate that, dude. He said, I had London last night, so I'm feeling good. Should I start T, JSN, or A-Chain in my flex, full PPR? Oh, this is tough, man, because Achane would technically be the guy that you want to go with, but with the matchups for T and JSN, and then obviously, you know, Achane's Miami situation being the Miami situation at the moment, I think right now, you love what you see out of London this week. I'm probably going to be going with, let me just double check these rankings here. I have JSN below T. Higgins by a couple spots, so I think I would just roll out T. Higgins here this week. I don't know if we can really trust Achane at the moment, so I would be rolling out T. Higgins, man. Zeke, would you rather have Bucky Irving plus Jonathan Brooks or Xavier Worthy, mostly for late season bye weeks? I would rather have Bucky and Jonathan Brooks, to be honest. I don't think Worthy's that great of a player. Will says Josh Downs or Xavier Legette. If it's Joe Flacco, it's Josh Downs. If it's not, it's Legette. But I think Josh Downs is the play for you if it's Joe Flacco. Jonathan says, starting off hot, Dynasty Superflex, tight end premium. I have Rome and being offered by one guy, Darnold in a 25-second. Another Deontay Johnson in a 25-second. Had Russ in the Superflex, but he's a cone. Okay. I have Rome. I'm being offered by one guy, Darnold in a 25-second. Another Deontay. I would rather just have Rome. In a Dynasty Superflex, just give me Rome, man. I don't want those other packages. J. Kiz says, flex, PPR, Tolbert or Yoshavash. I like Tolbert more than Yoshavash this week. TD says, PPR, Gibbs out. Start 2 out of Javonte, Hunt, Dowdle, and Braylon. Kill me. I love it. I would go Javonte and Hunt. Those would be the two plays for me there. George, we got start 2, half PPR, Akers, Tracy, Chase Brown, flex 1, Legette, 2-2, Whittington. Okay, so start 2 of these guys. I'm going to go with... I think I'm going to go with Akers and Chase Brown, and then the flex, I'm going to go with Whittington in the flex this week. Aiden says, started Worthy over London last second. Ouch. Ouch. Not good. George says, try to trade Kyler for Love or trade Adams to get Achane and JSN. I don't know if I'm trading Adams at the moment until we figure out what's going on with him. I don't mind you getting Achane and JSN. That's good compensation. And then Kyler for Love, yeah, I think Love is probably going to be the better fantasy asset down the stretch now. It's been a slow little slump for Kyler. I think both of them are still going to be great, but Love looks like he's on fire again. So I would definitely go with Jordan Love. Standard scoring, start 1, Moss or Stevenson. Give me Stevenson. And we got a super chat again here from Tyler. Tyler, he says, then Sermon or Wicks or Downs. Pick one. Sermon, Wicks, or Downs. Give me Wicks. Wicks is definitely the play that I would like to go with that one, Tyler. Sorry it took a little while. I didn't see it. It was kind of hidden. Usually if we get the super chats, we try to get to them as quick as possible, but I apologize on that one. I didn't see that one. Let's see. TD says, send the live stream a like, folks. Hell yeah, hit that like button, folks. King, I traded Garrett Wilson for J.K. Dobbins. Did I lose or win the trade? Also, who should I flex? Josh Downs, Wicks, or Stevenson? I would much rather have Garrett Wilson than J.K. Dobbins rest of the way. So I don't think you won that one, unfortunately. Who should you flex between Josh Downs, Wicks, and Stevenson? It's Wicks for me. Fire up Dontavion Wicks. Sermon or Odunze or Tracy? I think Sermon. Sermon would be the play. Grover, full PPR, guillotine survivor format, so floor is more important than upside. Leggett or Whittington? I just saw Whittington's projections jump by over a point on Sleeper. Whittington's going to be a great play this week. He is my deep cut wide receiver play of the week, a stream of the week. I think he's going to have a very good week, and I think his floor is much higher than Leggett's. Give me Whittington, man. I think Whittington is a great play for you this week, so he would be the guy that I'm going with. Game time decision. I don't know what the game time decision is. But Sermon says Sermon, Tracy, or Odunze. I think Sermon. I think we already answered that, maybe. Feels like we just answered that. Taylor says, also, I got offered Brandon Ayuk for Lad. Should I do it? Yes, I would rather have Brandon Ayuk than Lad. Xavier says, full PPR. Drop Justice Hill for Tyrone Tracy. Hill seems game script dependent. Tracy is starting this week. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind you seeing, what Tracy has this week and picking him up. The thing is, even if he does, I think even if he does well, like, he's still going to be in a committee behind Singletary. I don't think he's going to take his job. But that's just what Justice Hill is right now. So I don't mind you making the drop and just seeing what you get. Dominate says, hey, bud, is it okay to start James Conner at RB2 this week? Absolutely. I would absolutely be okay starting James Conner this week. I think he's going to finish as a running back 1 this week. Pick 2, Sermon, Cam, Akers, Trey Tucker, Jordan Whittington, Jennings, and Waddle. I think I like Whittington and Jennings the most. Those would be the 2 that I would play out of these guys. Gerald says, thoughts on Trey Sermon this week, as well as Tracy from New York. I like Trey Sermon this week. The matchup is great. They said it's going to be RBBC, kind of by committee approach, which does make me a little bit less excited about him. But earlier in the week, I felt like he has like low-end RB2 type of upside, flex appeal for Trey Sermon. Tracy, I loved Tracy in the pre-draft process. He was kind of a late-round dart throw sleeper type of guy for me in the offseason. The landing spot, he just needed some opportunity. Here's the opportunity. He has PPR upside, so if you're in a full PPR league, he could catch some passes here this week. So I think both of them are fine flex plays if you need them. Frankie, what just happened? Now we lost the stream on X. Whatever, we'll end that one. We don't need a stream on X, I guess. Stevenson, McConkey for Jacobs, full PPR. I need to free up some space. I have Brooks on IR. Yeah, I mean, I would do Stevenson and McConkey for Jacobs. I think Jacobs is a great play. I think he's going to be good the rest of the way. Charlie, trade Worthy and Rico and Lockett for B-Rob and Dell. Have Javonte, Rico. I would definitely trade Worthy, Rico, and Lockett for B-Rob and Dell. I would definitely do that. Should I drop either Josh Downs, Xavier Leggett, or Waddle? Should you drop them? Shit. I mean, the one that I guess I would drop would be Leggett. He would be the only one that I would drop right now. I think the other 2 are a little bit better. Gerald says Hill, Brian Thomas, or Rashid. Pick 2. BTJ and Tyreek Hill would be the 2 for me. Axe. We got start 3, full PPR. Amari Cooper, Garrett Wilson, Deontay Johnson, Wandell, Tank Dell, Brian Thomas. I'm going to go with Amari. I think Amari, Garrett Wilson, and BTJ are going to be what I roll out. I really want to find a way to put Deontay Johnson in the lineup, but he does get Jalen Johnson. And I love this matchup. I absolutely love this matchup for BTJ. Deontay definitely has the safer floor. So if you want floor, go with Deontay. But I think BTJ has the ability to boom this week. So those would be the 3 that I would go with. VB Pretend. Question for my Dynasty half PPR league. Start 3 out of these 5. 2 wide receivers and 1 flex. Start 3 of them. Okay, so we got BTJ versus Indy, Pickens versus Dallas, Dell versus Buffalo, Flowers versus Cincinnati, Trey Tucker. Well, Trey Tucker can be left on the bench, and Dell can be left on the bench, I think. So we'll go with BTJ, Pickens, and Flowers. Those would be the 3 for me. Actually, you know what? Half PPR, I might lean Dell over Flowers, but it's going to be BTJ, Pickens, and Dell. Sean, brutal RB bye week for me. PPR, I have Walker, start or sit McLaughlin, Gibson, or use waiver wire pickup for Akers. I think Gibson is probably the best play of them all, but I don't mind McLaughlin either, but I think I would just go with Gibson here. Cody says, another tight end premium, half PPR question. I lost Romeo Dobbs as my wide receiver 3, need 1. Michael Wilson or D-Rob? Thank you. D-Rob hasn't been great, but the matchup in Green Bay is, or the matchup versus Green Bay is pretty solid. That said, him and Michael Wilson are similar plays. The matchup's still similar too. I think I go Michael Wilson over D-Rob. He would be the play for me. I think he just plays more snaps than Demarcus Robinson, so I'd go with Michael Wilson. Rudy, should I trade Kirk, Pollard, and Singletary for Mason and CMC? I have Hill, Debo, Wicks, Wandell, Olave at wide receiver, and Josh Jacobs at running back. Okay, so here's the thing. Pollard and Singletary, they're fine running back 2s. Kirk, he's fine. It feels like you're giving up 3 startable assets for 1 startable asset, because if Mason is the starter until CMC comes back, then he's nothing. You're not going to play both of those Niners in your lineups, or at least you shouldn't. You have Hill. He's kind of on the down right now. Wicks, Wandell, Olave, and Jacobs. I think this is a move you can afford to make if you're, I don't know, 4-0, 3-1. If you're not either of those records, like, and you're 2-2 or 1-4, hell no, you're not trading for CMC. So it's going to depend on your record, but there's a lot of risk. I guess you get some flexibility to pick some people up on the waiver wire, but yeah, there's a lot of risk in that trade. Marcy says, my team is trash this week. Amon-Ra on bye, Jonathan Taylor, Puka, and Rashee hurt. Help. Higgins, Wicks, DJ Moore, Zay Flowers, Whittington, and Worthy. Full PPR pick 3. So I'm going Higgins, Wicks, and DJ. Higgins, Wicks, and DJ. Another question, but who would you rather start in half PPR 4-point passing touchdowns, Fields or Darnold? I'm starting Fields over Darnold probably this week. Xavier Lopez, we aren't dropping Rashee in redraft yet, right? No. Nope. He's on IR. He's going to miss 4 games, but it sounds like there's a chance that he could be back right after those 4 games. So I think if you have Rashee, based off of the production that he was giving you before, he's a player that you just put on the bench and you hold out, while he's hurt. Noah Gray or Juwan Johnson, full PPR. Juwan Johnson by a mile. Grover says full PPR, Trey Sermon or Wicks? Wicks for sure. Frankie, Shaheed over JSN for this week. Full PPR, no. JSN over Shaheed for me. Some kind of Cadwallader says half PPR, is it Mark Andrews week? Please, for the love of God. Or start Kraft. Could run the double tight end set over Ford, Hunt, or Akers. Which of those 2 RBs do you like this week? Okay, so I think I would be putting in Kraft over Mark Andrews for me this week. And then of the running backs, I like Ford and Hunt the most. Dom says pick 1 running back and 1 flex. Sermon, Cam Akers, Jennings, and Whittington. 1 running back, I would go Sermon over Akers, and then I would go Whittington over... I'd probably go Jennings over Whittington. Yeah, Sermon and Jennings. KJ says, need a flex start. Garrett Wilson, Javonte Williams, Juwan Jennings, or Zach Moss. Give me Garrett Wilson, man. You need a flex start. Give me Garrett Wilson. Should I play Jamal Williams if Kamara is out? My other back is Zach Moss. If Kamara is out, I think you can play Jamal Williams. And I don't love the matchup for Zach Moss this week. So I don't mind you playing Jamal there. Start Wandell or Sutton. I think I'm going to lean with Sutton. Hawkinson or Kincaid rest of season. It could still be 3 more weeks before we get Hawkinson. And just because of that, I think I'd rather go Kincaid. But once he's back, I think you have an argument. But it's going to probably be another 2 or 3 weeks until Hawkinson's back. So you still got like half a month or more until he's in the lineup. Safe to drop Lockett for Whittington. Let's just say I would rather play Whittington this week than Lockett. But I think rest of season, you rather have Lockett. So make that decision as you will. But this week, Whittington over Lockett, Lockett over Whittington the rest of the way. James says pick 2. Pittman, Cooper, Addison, Wicks, Ferguson, or Bowers. Okay, so that's 2 different questions. Pick 2 of them. I like Dontavion Wicks and Amari Cooper. Ferguson or Bowers? Give me Jake Ferguson. Yeah. Charlie says also Worthy, Flowers, Waddle, Jennings, full PPR. I think we're going Worthy and Flowers here. Mo Diesel says, do I trade Kelsey and Pittman for Dobbins, Shakir, and Tutu? No. Super chat from Luke. Appreciate the super chat, Luke. He says, you think Darnold starts over JJ next year? No, I don't think so. Everything that's coming out of the building right now has kind of been Kevin O'Connell saying that they know that they found the franchise quarterback. I think one thing's for certain, though. Sam Darnold has found his way into a pretty solid contract. I think what Baker Mayfield got, the 3-year, 2-year, whatever type of $1 million, I think he could get a Baker Mayfield contract and he could go be a starting quarterback for another team next year. I don't think, it would be a bad idea for him to go play for a team like maybe the Giants want to bring Darnold in if they don't like what they get out of, what's his name? Danny Dimes the rest of the way. But I think one thing's for certain to me, it's J.J. McCarthy's team unless I think Sam Darnold would almost have to take him to a Super Bowl for it to be his team. But you got to think about this because 2017, the Vikings, they had Case Keenum. Case Keenum takes them to the NFC Championship, and then Case Keenum walks the next year. Case Keenum goes and plays for the Broncos. So, we've seen this before out of Minnesota. Not the same coaching staff, not the same, front office, but when you have your guy, you have your guy. And I think J.J. McCarthy is the guy. So, good question, though. I like that question. Seal says, would you start Keon or Dell? I think I'm going Tank Dell. Sean says, I don't know about anybody else. The Twitter stream dropped for me. Also, I made a trade for Walker this week. Cost of Doomsday per day. Yeah, dude, I got a notification that said that X, we had an error on X and it was unresponsive or something. So we lost the X stream. But thank God we still have the Twitter stream. Sorry you lost that one, but what else we got? Made a trade for Walker this week. Cost of Doomsday and Purdy. I like the trade for Walker. That's a good trade for you. Xavier says, if he answered your question, the least we can do is leave a like on the video, guys. Thanks, bro. Hey, I appreciate you, Xavier. I mean, that makes a lot of sense to me, man. If you got the question answered, hit the like button. Marcy says, Kirk, McLaurin, Wicks, full PPR, need 2. Give me McLaurin and Wicks. I like those 2 more than Christian Kirk. Kelly says, Daniels or Allen, McBride or Kraft, PPR. Josh Allen? I'm going Josh Allen over Jaden Daniels. I know it's probably close, but I'm going Josh Allen. And then McBride or Kraft, I go McBride. VB, which of these running backs would you like to pick up from waivers? You get to pick one of them. Hill, Wilson, Dowdle, McLaughlin, CEH, or Bigsby. I'm going to say for me, it's between Dowdle and Bigsby, but I think I'm going to go Dowdle. I want to see what Dowdle can do. Where are we at? Kelly Having Daniels and Allen is rough. Would you like to sell one? What would you shoot for? Ayuk? Yeah, I mean, I would sell on Daniels. I think you hit on that. Great draft pick, but Allen is the guy you want to play pretty much every single week. So yeah, I would sell Daniels. If you can get Ayuk for him, that makes sense. Get a wide receiver you can buy low on. You might be able to get even more than that. Like I'd start in the upper tier, work your way down, guys like Nico Collins, and then work your way all the way down, see what you can get. But I don't mind you trading and going to get the wide receiver. 1 and 3, any suggestions? Love, Bijan, Bucky, London, Higgins, Worthy, Ingram, bench JD5, Barkley, Devonta Smith, Leggett, Coleman, Pitts, Likely. 12 teams, 1 quarterback, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex, full PPR. I mean, you got your bench with Barkley, JD5, Devontae, even Kyle Pitts feels fine. You can't have 3 tight ends. I'm not putting 3 tight ends on this team. Having Ingram, Pitts, and Likely feels crazy. I'd be trying to go get one of them off the team, maybe even 2 of them off the team, to be honest. I think the other pieces, London, Higgins, these are good pieces. You might be light at running back. You might need to go get another running back behind Bucky, because I think Barkley, Bijan, and then Bucky being the only 3, you might need another one. So maybe move one of those tight ends for a running back. And then I would say pick between JD5 and Jordan Love, and then I would probably trade one of those QBs high, because you can't start both of them. I just traded Pittman and Fields for Flowers. What do you think of this trade? Pittman and Fields for Flowers? I think it's fine. You have Lamar's QB1 and Mayfield on the bench. Yeah, so you didn't need the QB. Collins is wide receiver 1, Flowers will be wide receiver 2. It makes sense. Pittman, he's definitely a sell high, because if you get Joe Flacco this week and he has another good week or whatever it may be, the reality is with Anthony Richardson under center, it just hasn't been great this year, and it probably won't continue to be great with Anthony Richardson. So in this small window that we get where it's Joe Flacco under center and Pittman is scoring, I think it's a good time to trade him. Does a package of London and Jaden Reed get me Jay Jettas? It might. Potentially. It just depends on the guy who has Jay Jettas. What about Darnold to the Rams to replace Stafford? Same system, right? Dude, that would be fire. That would be fire. And he wouldn't even have to necessarily start over Stafford. If they wanted to bring Stafford back for another year, he wouldn't even have to do that for the most part. But I think that would be really, really good for him to go to the Rams. I've seen people float around him go back to the New York Jets and take over from Rodgers, but I don't feel like the Jets is a good play. Don't go back to that's like going back to the Toxic X. Don't do that shit, man. Move on. But the Rams is a fire system. I think that would be good for them. Marcy says, thank you, appreciate your help. Appreciate you. Uncle Ted says Pittman owns the Jaguars. He might. It's a good week for him, especially if Joe Flacco's under center. Should I start Justice Hill or Emmanuel Wilson with JT out, half PPR? I don't love either of these options. I actually like Jaleel McLaughlin better. I like Trey Sermon better if he's still on the waivers. I like some of these other guys, but between the two, I think I would just rather go Emmanuel Wilson. Chandler says, I'm 3-1, going to be 4-1 after this week. My opponent is killed with bye weeks, just threw in the towel, but I don't have depth. Any advice would be helpful. I think here's the other part of it. There you go. CJ Stroud and Purdy, CMC, Ford, Rashad White, Henry, and Brooks, Debo, Evans, Rice, Wicks, Whittington, tight end is Goddard and Ingram. Feel like moving to QB with a tight end to try and get some depth. I mean, that's what I was going to suggest. I don't think you need Stroud and Purdy. I think you only need one of them. Pick the guy that you want. I probably would go with CJ Stroud, and then move the other one and pair it with the tight end. I don't hate the idea. I think we're same wavelength there. Suggestions at RB2: Stevenson, Dowdle, Sharps. Give me Stevenson. Raul says thin at running back, position with injury and buys. Jerome Ford or Javonte Williams. I like Jerome Ford this week. We got full PPR pick 2: Ford, Chase Brown, Christian Kirk, Braylon, Jacoby, Michael Wilson. I think Ford is definitely the start. I think there's an argument for Brown or Kirk, but I think I'm going to go with Ford and Christian Kirk. MC Bowling says bench one. Madison, Lazard, Pickens, and Joku. If we're benching one of them, I'm going to bench Lazard and roll with the other ones. Andre says KOC is just that guy. He's him. Actually him. Like, this motherfucker better win Coach of the Year, bro, because he's nice. Raul says full PPR, 10-man. What the? I think that was from the question from earlier. I think we answered that one. Sean says, sorry for the third question. Dude, don't worry about the third question. Keep asking away. I'm here for this reasoning exactly. So, piggybacking off my first, Bigsby is available in my league. Start him over McLaughlin Gibson. Drop likely for him. No, I like Gibson and McLaughlin as better starts than Bigsby. I think Gibson is the best start of all of them, so I would probably go with Gibson. Tyson says, trade Tyreek and Puka for A.J. Brown, Wicks, and T. I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all. I think I'm going to go the A.J. Brown, Wicks, and T. Tresner, he says, what up, bro? What up, Trez? Dragna says, tiered PPR, start one of Fant, Akers, Pop, Douglas. Gross. Give me Akers. In half PPR, do you like having elite running backs more? Yeah, I mean, the closer you get to standard, the more I like the running back position, especially those bell cows. So, yeah, you can make the argument that the running back's a little bit better in the half PPR format. King says 10-team PPR, 1 QB, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex. The quarterbacks are Love, AR, Jacobs, Connor, Najee, JK, Hill, Amon-Ra, Marvin Harrison Jr., Reed. Holy hell, what is this? Amari Cooper. Should I move MHJ or Reed for an S-tier RB like Breece Hall? You could. I think you can. And I don't hate the idea. I actually really like Jacobs and Connor down the stretch. Honestly, what I would try and do is I would just try and move Amari Cooper for like a B tier running back. Just get another one in there. I don't think it's that bad of an idea to just find another guy. Like, here's some names I'll actually throw out. Let's look at this list here. Like, if you can get, Cooper for Aaron Jones, you send Cooper for Jonathan Brooks is another guy that I wouldn't mind, making a move for. Maybe Cooper for Brian Robinson. Like, those types of guys, I have no issues with you going to get one of them. But I'd like to keep the wide receiver talent if you can. Thank you. Appreciate you. Slasher says, is Rashid being dropped? No, not yet. VB says, thoughts on my half PPR Dynasty trade so far. Traded Mahomes and Rachaad White for Achane. Whoa, hold on. Traded Mahomes and Rachaad White for Achane and traded Zamir White. I'm assuming this is not Superflex. If this is Superflex, there's no way we're trading Mahomes for Achane. Yeah, hopefully it's 1 QB. If it's 1 QB, even then it's a little bit questionable, I think, to move Mahomes and White for Achane. But traded Zamir White for Tank Dell. I love that one no matter what. Oscar says, if AR doesn't play, I'll have to either play Dell or Christian Kirk. Where would you lean? Unfortunately, no third QB. I would definitely be leaning with Tank Dell over Christian Kirk. He would be the guy that I lean with. So, yeah, definitely what I'm doing. VB says no, 1 QB. Okay, 1 QB definitely is better. I still think Mahomes and Rachaad White for Achane, it's fine. But in 1 QB, that makes it a lot better. I was worried it was Superflex for a second. But all right, folks, it looks like we have caught up here on the questions for at least a second. So I'll take the time and say, if you guys want to support the channel, if you want to support the stream, there's a few ways that you can do that for us. The first way that you can do that is by hitting the like button. It's a free way you can help support this channel. It actually does help us. As much as it seems like it's such a little thing to do, hitting the like button does help the channel. It basically tells YouTube that you like the content, and then it pushes it to more people. So that helps us grow. In the same breath as helping us grow, if you've watched the channel, you like the advice, you find it entertaining, you find it actionable, and you're not subscribed to the channel for some reason, make sure you hit the subscribe button. That helps us a lot too, because the more subscribers we get, the more people it will push this video to in the future, and the more we grow. So thank you for doing those. And one other way that you can support this channel is you see this down below. Use promo code League FFB for up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you sign up at Underdog Fantasy. So if you have never played on Underdog and you want to go play Underdog, just download the app, click the link in the description for where I have it say play Underdog with me. They will give you up to $1,000 in bonus cash if you deposit $10 and play with that. It is one of the best apps out there for DFS, for pick'ems, for anything like that. So I love Underdog, strongly support Underdog. Was a user of Underdog before they ever even sponsored the show. So if you haven't signed up for that and you want to sign up for that, use code League FFB for up to $1,000 in bonus cash. That said, we have a couple more questions here, folks. One, starting it off with Sean, is Bigsby worth the ad for likely in full PPR? I have Ferguson and Hawk on IR. Thanks for the advice. Already put Gibson in the lineup. Let's go. Is Bigsby worth the ad for likely in full PPR? I think if you have Ferguson and Hawkinson already, like, I don't want to have the third tight end, so I don't mind you dropping likely and getting a guy like Bigsby. He's definitely somebody that I think should be rostered moving forward. Frankie says BTJ or JSN rest of season. Well, for me, it's BTJ this week, but I think JSN is probably the guy that I go the rest of the season. I just trust that Seattle offense a little bit more rest of the way. I still think that there's room for JSN to get even more involved, and I think it's just buying into the offense. They're kind of the same bet, but JSN would be my pick. Just picked up Tyrone Tracy off waivers for Singletary. You didn't drop Singletary, did you? Hopefully you didn't drop Singletary, but I do like picking up Tyrone Tracy just to see what he does this week. Raul says DJ Moore versus Carolina, the revenge game, or DK versus New York Giants. I do like DK more than DJ Moore this week. Andre says 10-team redraft, half PPR, 3-1, any moves. We got Stroud, Kamara, Rashad White, Lamb, Neighbors, Laporta, Flex, London, bench, Baker, Ramondre, Bowers, Addison, Reed, JSN, Puka on IR. I mean, you got a strong lineup here. Stroud, Kamara, Lamb, Neighbors, Laporta, London, Baker, Bowers, Addison, Reed, JSN, Puka. Like, I don't really want to move any of those guys. The only guys that I don't really like are Rashad White and Ramondre Stevenson. So I think you have some flexibility here where you are strong at the wide receiver position. If you want to move one of the wide receivers like JSN or Jordan Addison, or even if you want to move a guy like Sam Laporta or Brock Bowers and go get another running back, get a stronger running back, pair them with one of those running backs to upgrade to a Josh Jacobs type, I don't mind that at all. I think that would be probably the best move just to help improve that running back 2 position. AJB for Nico. I like Nico Collins right now probably more than AJ Brown, crazy enough. Raul says 10-man full PPR, sorry. Yeah, still the same answer for me. Full PPR, we still are going with DK Metcalf. Marv and Pitts for Amon-Ra and Laporta. Give me Amon-Ra and Laporta side of that deal. Kyle says, I traded Mason and Caleb Williams for Ayuk, J.K. Dobbins, and Dak. Felt like a giant W, but now I'm second-guessing myself. Traded Mason and Caleb Williams for Ayuk, J.K. Dobbins, and Dak. I prefer the Ayuk, Dobbins, and Dak side. So, giant W, I don't know if it's a giant W, but definitely a W for me. Karma says 10-man PPR. You have JT, Saquon, Mason, Najee, Reed, Ayuk, Moore, Cup, Wandale. Was offered Kyron plus Waddle for Mason plus Reed. Is it worth risking wide receivers to get rid of Mason since he has a shelf life? That's the thing with Mason is I don't know what the shelf life is. I'm assuming that, CMC will be back this year. Kyron plus Waddle. I would try and counter and make it a different player than Reed because Reed looks really legit. I think at this point, I would probably prefer Reed over Ayuk or DJ Moore moving forward. So I would try and counter Mason plus Moore for Kyron and Waddle. And if they don't accept that, I'd be willing to go up to Ayuk. But I'm really trying to keep Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed looks like a superstar. Caleb says, where is Sam Darnold for you rest of the season? It's tough to tell, man. It's tough to tell. There is no doubt that he has been killing it. I think we probably got to look at him as this QB1 the rest of the way. Like, he's still a top 12 guy. He's probably going to continue to be a top 12 guy as long as the season, progresses. The schedule's going to get lighter. He's going to get more weapons. So, like, he has to probably be a QB1 the rest of the way. And did we think this was going to happen at the beginning of the year? Probably not. Is it awesome? Hell yeah. So, Sam Darnold probably QB1 the rest of the way, man. Kaido says, no, I didn't. All right, for sure. Miles says, traded Hurts, Devontae Adams, Pollard, and Keenan Allen for Dak, Chubb, Ayuk, and Trey Tucker. Thoughts? Half PPR with 2 flex spots. You traded Hurts, Adams, Pollard, and Keenan Allen for Dak, Chubb, Ayuk, and Trey Tucker. I prefer the Hurts, Adams, Pollard, and Allen side of this deal. Raul says, Achane or Hunt, half PPR. Give me Achane. Zach says, any holes in this team? 8-team PPR, 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 2 flex. You got Lamar, Etienne, Mason, B-Rob, Brooks, Bucky Irving, Allen, Garrett Wilson, Ayuk, Wicks, AJ Brown. The running back feels pretty light for 8-man or an 8-team league. Mason, B-Rob, Brooks, Bucky Irving, it feels light. So I think the hole would be at the running back position. Frankie, no problem, bro. Andre says, are you completely out on Bijan rest of season? Jacob's owner has both, and he's 1-3. No, I'm not completely out on Bijan the rest of the season. I still like Bijan. I think he's still talented. It hasn't worked out so far. They're doing a lot of outside zone scheme. That's not necessarily his bread and butter, but I'm not out on him the rest of the way. I still like him. And honestly, if there's a buy low window, I'm probably buying low. Kyle says, sell high on Mooney. If so, who should my targets be? Full PPR, 2 flex. I don't know if we're selling high on Mooney. I think we've seen, he can put up this type of numbers with good quarterback play, and I think he's going to continue. Maybe not last week's numbers because he went nuclear, but I don't know if I'm really selling high on him. I think he's legit in this offense. And I guess if you are going to sell him, I don't know if anybody's going to buy it just because of the name cachet, but I think you would probably have to be selling Mooney in the same tier as guys like Jordan Addison, Christian Watson, and some of those other folks. But I feel like Mooney is probably the safer bet of all of those, other than maybe Jordan Addison. I would try for Jordan Addison, but yeah, Mooney's definitely not somebody I'm selling at the moment. Where's Godwin for you the rest of the season? Would you try to move him for someone? Godwin's still high for me rest of the season. This Buccaneers offense is great. He's going to still be good. The touchdown numbers, they came down over the last couple of weeks. I'm not panicked too much. They were a little bit high before. This is a guy I think rest of the year we can view him as a wide receiver 2, low-end wide receiver 1 type of play most weeks. But I'm not necessarily trying to move him. If you do want to move him, I'm looking for guys like... I'm going to try and get a guy like DK. I'm going to try and get a guy like Jaden Reed. I'm going to try and get a guy like, I don't know, Chris Olave, those types of guys. But, yeah. Mason says, how about this 10-team Superflex Keeper League, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex, quarterbacks, Allen, Purdy, running backs, Barkley, Kyron, Chuba, Monty Bigsby, wide receivers, Neighbors, Godwin, DK, Ayuk, Whittington, Rice, 4-0, but probably, where's the rest of that? 4-0, but probably lose week 5. I mean, the team looks fine. Allen, Purdy, Barkley, Kyron. Yeah, I think you could maybe add, you have Monty too. The team looks good. I think you're actually fine. I don't think you really got to do too much. There's a reason why you're 4-0. Bench Jettas since he's seeing a lot of sauce this week? No. We are not benching Jay Jettas ever. I still have Jay Jettas as a top 5 play this week. VB says, what wide receiver do you think I could trade for in a 1-for-1 for Zay Flowers? I feel like you can buy Zay Flowers fairly cheap right now. He hasn't been producing. If you can move a guy like Pittman for him, a guy like DJ Moore for him, you could probably do that. Terry McLaurin maybe, one of those guys. Mooney's Kirk's safety blanket, bro. His targets are crazy. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if we're really selling at the moment. Moves would you make for an 8-man? Josh Allen, Gibbs, Nico, Amon-Ra, London, Godwin, BTJ, Sam Laporta. Did we see this team? I feel like we saw this team, but what moves would I make? You probably won a decent amount of games with this roster, no? Like, you probably have a winning record. It feels pretty good. I don't really think that there's many moves. I like the quarterback. I like the running back. I like the wide receiver. You could argue maybe a different tight end, but I think Sam Laporta is still going to be fine. Got offered Flowers and a first for Puka in Dynasty. His team isn't great, so would lean him to tanking. I don't know how much I like Flowers, though. If his team isn't great and he's leaning towards tanking, I think I'm going to go with the Flowers in the first side, just purely off of value, and then you can trade Flowers for something else if you don't love Flowers, but I would lean towards the value on that side. But Puka's still great, man. Puka's still great. Frankie, he says, what days do you do these start-sit live streams? So Friday nights, we always do a fantasy Q&A, and then Sunday mornings, before the games, we always do a start-sit live. So make sure you're around for those ones. Even on Saturday afternoons, we do a stream as well. So pretty much Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm always live, at least once during each of those days. But Friday nights are about 8 p.m. typically, and Sundays about an hour before game time. Vince says, Terry and Addison for Debo and Eckler. I got St. Brown and DK already. Give me Debo and Eckler. Oscar says, sold Bijan for London, Dell, and Najee. Feel like this was a good buy low on London. I don't hate it. I think it's a good deal. Sean says, might as well shoot off my team. Full PPR, 12 team, double flex. Allen, Pittman, Pickens, Barkley, Gibbs, Walker, Sutton, Waddle, Ferguson, McConkey, Leggett, Gibson, McLaughlin, Goff, and Hawk. Look, the team's solid outside of probably the wide receiver room. Pittman, Pickens, Sutton, Waddle. This feels risky as hell. Love Allen, love Barkley, love Gibbs. You can afford to move a running back. In a full PPR, I'm probably going to lean to keep Gibbs and Barkley, and this might be the perfect sell high window for a guy like Walker, where he's coming off a 3-touchdown game, and you might be able to get a stud wide receiver for him. A guy that I would be trying to target would be like, if you can move Walker for like a Marvin Harrison, you can move Walker for a guy like just one of those types, like an elite wide receiver, I'm probably doing it. All right, we got start X-Worthy, JSN, Wandell, or Addison. I think I like Addison the most here. Him or JSN, it's going to be one of those two. Karma says 10-man dual flex. Do I start ETN at running back 2 this week over Ford, Hunt, or Sermon? Yes, I start ETN over those guys. If yes, who do I flex between one of those 3 over Jennings and Waddle? I think I go Ford. All right, guys, this is a 10-minute countdown. As I mentioned, my wife and I, we're going out to celebrate her birthday this evening, so we only got about 10 minutes left. So get those questions in. I'm going to try and rapid fire and get as many of these off as possible before we leave. But I need to free up a roster spot. You guys see how that made my eyes water? I got that sparkling ice. It's like the carbonation in this is crazy. I need to free up a roster spot. Trying to package Higgins, Amari Cooper, and Stevenson for an upgraded wide receiver running back. Do you think Higgins and Cooper for Garrett Wilson or ETN is fair? If not, any recommendations? I think it's fair. In fact, depending on the Garrett Wilson manager, they might be willing to accept that type of trade. So I think it's fair for either of those guys if you're trying to free up the spot. Half PPR, Kraft or Bowers? Give me Bowers. Cruz says, Andrew, Dynasty question for you. Which side you taking? Superflex, 10-team, half PPR, Derek Carr, Wandell, 25 first, 25 third, or Herbert, Rashad White? Dynasty, Superflex? Give me the Justin Herbert side of this by a mile, a country mile. Tyson says, update on the previous trade. He now wants Tyreek, Puka, or Tank for A.J. Brown, T, and Wicks. Would you still do it? Tyreek, Puka, and Tank. I think Tyreek and AJ are a wash, and you'd probably rather have AJ at the moment. Puka and T, you could argue. Well, I want Puka more long term, but you're gonna get production out of, and then Tank and Wicks. I think it's fair. It's a fair deal. I think I'd still do it, but you could go either way on this one. I still don't mind the AJ Brown, T Higgins, and Wicks side. Raul says Marvin Harrison Jr., Wandell, or Christian Kirk. Give me Marvin Harrison Jr., bro. Champagne says start 2. Ayuk, McLaurin, Flowers, Cooper, Worthy. Give me Cooper and Ayuk. Sean says just traded for Walker this week. Ha ha ha. The Purdy and a Dunze trade makes sense, but now you're a little bit heavy. So if you want to do Gibbs, if you want to keep Walker and trade Gibbs, I think that's fine too, man. So I'd just move one of the running backs. Maybe you down tier them and just add another wide receiver and package the 2 wide receivers or something together. There's a couple different ways you could go, but I think a straight off 1-for-1, Gibbs or Walker for a wide receiver is the way I would go. Oscar says, this channel and BDGE are what I look at. We appreciate the good work. I appreciate that, Oscar. It means a ton to me, for real. So thank you so much, man. That means a lot. Raul with the super chat, my guy. He says, big thank you for your help and support week in and out. Thank you for your support week in and out, man. That means a ton to me, so thank you so much. Cruz, I think we just answered this one, though. John says, full PPR, 14-team, non-superflex. You send Joe Burrow and McBride for A-Rich and Jacobs. Non-superflex. I think there's an argument that you want the A-Rich and Jacobs side here. I think that's probably what I would do. But he says, for context to my trade message, I've been playing Baker over Burrow and have Kraft and Njoku. Yeah, I think that there's an argument that you just go with the A-Rich and Jacobs side. So even with the context, that further cements that opinion. But I felt like that before I even saw the context. Ben says, what do you think of my wide receiver room in a 10-team half PPR start 2? You got Debo, Pickens, Odunze, Neighbors, Judy, and Michael Wilson. Any upgrades needed? I like Debo, Neighbors, and Pickens. Odunze should be good in the second half. Judy's fine. I think this is a solid wide receiver room. I wouldn't mind trying to package potentially a guy like Pickens and Odunze together and try and go get an upgrade. Maybe you can buy into an upper tier. That would be something I'd explore if you can make it happen, just because you only have to start 2 of them each week. But other than that, the wide receiver room is good. I don't think that there's anything crazy. Mason says, standard league, 3 wide receiver, 2 flex. Would you play Tucker Kraft this week over Trey Tucker or Tolbert? Yes, I would play Tucker Kraft over those guys. We already got that one. Dynasty, full PPR and half point per carry. Wicks, Dowdle, or Ferguson. Give me Wicks. Give me Wicks, man. And then Sean, I think this is the last one here. We got 5 minutes, so if you have any final questions, we got 5 minutes. We'll rapid fire them off. Sean says, going to hope Walker goes off and increases his value, especially the Barkley Gibbs buy. Thanks for the help, man. Have a good weekend. I appreciate you, Sean, and apologize for the X stream shutting off on me. What can we do about it? But I appreciate you coming over to YouTube and finding it. So thank you, man. Have a good weekend to you as well. All right, folks. So it looks like we don't really have any other questions coming in. I see we got John. He says, appreciate you, Andrew. Thank you. And I appreciate you, John. I appreciate the rest of you guys for hopping in here, talking some fantasy football with me, just going through the motions. And we do got a super chat. So we do got to, recognize that one for sure. We got a 12-team full PPR, Caleb, Cook, Harris, CD, Nico, Rome, McBride. The bench is Cup, Rice, Mooney, Brooks, Judy, Singletary, Spears. I need a QB. How I do? All right. So how do we go get a QB? Well, you don't have the running backs to get off of. Cook, Harris, and Brooks, and Singletary. I'm okay with that, but you don't have any studs. You got CD, Nico, Rome, Cup, Rice, Mooney. So you have the wide receivers. This is where you can get creative. Maybe you can have somebody buy into the Caleb Williams and the Romo Dunze. You package those two together, you upgrade to the quarterback position. Maybe it's Caleb Williams and a guy like you kind of have sunk costs with Cup and Rice at the moment, but maybe one of them, and then you just move that. But I'd be packaging one of the wide receivers and Caleb Williams together to upgrade the QB from somebody else. And try and target, if you can afford to, try and target quarterbacks that are on bye weeks. So maybe this week you try a Jared Goff. Maybe this week you try a Jalen Hurts. Like one of those guys, try and buy somebody's bye week because they're likely to sell them to you a little bit cheaper, and then you just pick up and stream the quarterback position in that 1 week, and then you have your starter the rest of the way. You don't even have to roster a backup QB. So that's what I would be trying to do. Slash Raul, he says pick 'em, Buffalo versus Houston, Cleveland versus Washington. I'm going Houston over Buffalo, and I'm going Washington over Cleveland. Curtis says Trey Sermon or Tracy Jr. I like Trey Sermon. And then Mason, last one of the day. He says, first time here. Glad I was able to catch your stream. Good luck this week against your idiot league mates. My God, brother. Let me tell you about this idiot league mates roster. As you know, if you've been following along the league mate stuff, I've been super injured. Puka Nacua, just a lot of other guys have been injured. Joe Mixon has been out. A lot of these other guys. Well, Joe Mixon's out this week. Khalil Shakir is out this week. Like, everybody is out this week. Saquon is on bye. I need the luck is what I'm saying, so I appreciate it. Hopefully we can just pull a sneaky one out against Gut. If not, no big deal. I think I should still be second place in the division, which obviously is a playoff roster. So we'll keep it going, but at least we can get past, the bye week of Saquon Barkley, because we need to ride the hot hand of Saquon the rest of the way. Slash says, okay, thank you, Sermon or Tracy. As RB2, we already said Sermon. And then Sean says, parting comment, go Jets. Love Darnold, though. Sean, I love that you love the Jets, but I'm going to hit you with the skull, baby. Let's get it, man. I appreciate you guys. If you did tap into the channel, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you do all the good YouTube stuff that helps us grow. And more than anything, good luck in your matchups this week. We're going to be live tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern. We're also going to be live on Sunday morning to do some more start sits before we leave. So with that being said, I have nothing else for you guys today. I will see you on the next episode, but until then, peace out.